Welcome to the Health by Haven podcast. I'm your host, Haven Quinlan. If you're a multi-passionate wellness enthusiast, then you're in the right place. I'm obsessed with learning as much as I can about the wellness world, and I want to share that with you. Each episode will dive into various aspects of health and wellness through inspiring and informative guest interviews with some solo episodes thrown in. Tune in for all things health, and let's have some fun, shall we? Hello, good morning, good evening, whenever you're listening to this. Hope you're doing well. We are in the midst of all of our move back to Knoxville from New York City, and it's been very busy and hectic. And so kind of between that and some recent work travel I did, I figured it would be a good opportunity to do a quick solo episode on some healthy travel tips. Now, I do want to preface this by saying that most of the tips I'm going to give you guys today are for travel for work or business versus vacation travel. That is a whole other thing. We'll touch on it briefly. But today is mostly on work travel or travel you may not necessarily be going to, quote unquote, take a little break from your normal life. So let's get right into it. Today we're going to cover some healthy meals, healthy snacks, hydration, your movement, your sleep, some travel products. So a little bit of everything. I did a poll recently on Instagram about what you guys struggle with the most while you're traveling, what questions you have about healthy travel tips. So I'm hoping to be able to provide some really good tangible tools for you all next time you're traveling on business. So we'll get started with healthy meals. I know a lot of us have work lunches or work dinners that are part of our jobs, and maybe we don't have control of what restaurant we're going to. It may not be the one we would select, or maybe not one that has a ton of healthy options. So before you go on one of these work dinners, if you're really trying to get a nutrient-dense meal, making sure that you're getting all your vitamins and minerals and things that you need for the day, one, I would recommend, if you're able to look at the menu beforehand. You can kind of scan your options so you're not feeling rushed doing it while you're chatting with your coworkers or your clients or whoever you may be going to that meal with. It'll just give you a little foresight, and you can think about what you may want to order. Don't be afraid to ask for some substitutions. If, for example, I eat pretty minimal dairy, so if some salad that I wanted had some cheese in it, then I could ask for without. So don't be afraid to make those little adjustments when possible. That can help you out to kind of stay in your lane of what you prefer to eat that makes you feel your best. But really what you want to look for in a restaurant menu to make sure you're fully nourished is within your meal, you want a protein source, whether that's animal protein or plant-based protein. You want to make sure you have a healthy fat source. So maybe that's avocado, maybe that's an olive oil, maybe that's nuts or seeds. You want to make sure you have some fiber and veggies, which often go hand in hand. I say half your plate full of veggies is a good rule of thumb there to make sure. So whether it's you're getting a starter salad or whether you're getting some roasted veggies as your side, maybe you opt for that instead of the bread or instead of the fries. That will ultimately make you feel better, help your digestion, get those vitamins and nutrients, all the good things that can often feel thrown off when we're traveling. Now, these are good go-tos for when you have a sit-down meal, but oftentimes we are on the go when we're traveling, especially for work, and we have to run in and quick grab a pickup meal. So some of my favorite places to go to that are delicious, but that you can still get things that will nourish you. Chipotle is a really easy one. They're everywhere. You can do a salad or a bowl Fill that up with brown rice, with black beans, with a ton of vegetables. You can get your healthy fat with the avocado. You get lots of flavors. You can add that salsa in for a little added kick. So that is a really easy go-to that I enjoy. Cava is another place. I feel like they're popping up more and more now. It's almost like the quick Mediterranean version of Chipotle. But same thing there. You can do different things, but I love to get a bowl or a salad and really just load it up with a ton of veggies. They've got different plant-based and animal-based protein sources that you can add in. And it's always super delicious as well. You can usually find a salad place or a wrap place. You could look for a local smoothie shop that has actual fruit and vegetables in their smoothies versus just concentrates. Things to be mindful of when you're traveling. If you know where you're going or if it's somewhere you travel often for work, then maybe you'll find those go-to places. But I always like to look up before I travel where I'm going to eat because I'm just a big foodie. And that helps make sure that I get those nourishing, satisfying meals versus ending up in a hotel room at the end of the night eating a granola bar for dinner. That just does not serve us. Okay, healthy snacks. We're moving right along here. So, when at all possible, I love to be able to prep for and pack snacks when I'm traveling. Now, I know that's not always easy, so we'll get to the package once you can buy on the go. But as far as prepping beforehand, I know it takes some time. Sometimes it's not possible, but when it is, you will thank yourself in the long run. So some of my favorite go-tos are veggies and hummus, because then you have kind of all those components we're looking for. The fiber from the veggies and those nutrients in those veggies. You've got the healthy fat and the protein and the hummus. So lots of good things. Good flavors too. You can pick different ones each time. I also love to pack some trail mix, and personally, I like to make my own because I feel like no matter what trail mix you get at the store, there's always something you're picking around that you don't want, or their ratios are different than what you want. So if you're wanting to make your own, I've got lots of trail mix recipes on healthbyhaven.com in the recipes tab if you need a little inspo. But really, just pick all your favorite nuts and dried fruits, mix them all up. I love to add in some chocolate chips sometimes for a little sweetness, or some coconut flakes. So you have a lot of options for that. But of course, you can get packaged trail mix as well. But that will help keep you full with the healthy nuts and the protein, the healthy fats and the protein in the nuts. Next, energy bites or protein bites. Those are great. I mean, a million people have recipes on those. I have some energy bite recipes on my website as well. But those are often good for just if you need a little something to pick you up. I like to add a little something sweet, whether it's dried fruit or chocolate chips, if I'm like craving something sweet, but I want to make sure it's not going to give me a big sugar crash afterwards. So that is a great option, especially for the little afternoon pick-me-up time. And then this one might be controversial, but hard-boiled eggs, I think, are a great option to pack if, of course, you have the ability to keep them cold. But that is a quick, easy protein source for you. Now, if you're not able to pack snacks beforehand, maybe you've had a long trip and this is your journey back. Protein bars are an easy, great one to go to. Definitely take a look at the ingredients list. It's easy to find quote unquote healthy protein bars that are actually loaded up with sugar or fillers or gums. So rule of thumb, typically in those packaged foods, the shorter ingredient list, the better. You want to make sure it's not chock full of a bunch of added sugars or those fake sugar substitutes. Maybe they're sweetening them from dates or something more natural. That's going to make you feel better in the long run than that spike and the crash from loading up with sugar. But great, easy way to get protein on the go. You can get those basically anywhere you travel. Some of my other favorite brands for crackers, I love this brand called Simple Mills. They really do a lot of, they're entire company actually might be gluten-free, but they do a lot of almond butter cracker or almond flour crackers and vegetable flour crackers. I'm not gluten-free per se, but I actually love their flavors so much that I continue to buy their products. They have a really short, clean ingredient list, which makes me feel good. They're truly delicious. So, I mean, if anyone knows someone from Simple Mills, you can hit me up. This is none of these are sponsored, but that is a great option if you're wanting kind of a salty snack that doesn't need to be cold. Another brand that I like to travel with, and I actually took to my most recent work conference, is a brand called Cluster Bucks. I think they're pretty small, but they're growing because I've started to see them pop up in Whole Foods as well. But it is a granola and just super delicious. I've had the blueberry vanilla maybe so far, but would recommend that one because once again, a short ingredient list. It's not super chock full of sugar, which is challenging to find with granola. Similarly, Purely Elizabeth is a great brand that's become a lot more well known. They make delicious granola, and then they also make little overnight oat cups. So I really love to get these when I'm traveling. If my conference or work trip or whatever I'm going to doesn't provide breakfast in the morning. I'm a breakfast gal. I need to have my food in the morning to make sure my energy stays up and I don't get hangry. So this is a really easy one to have in a hotel room. You just fill it up with your liquid of choice the night before, pop it in the fridge. You can add stuff if you have the capability to do like some almond butter or some fruit, or you could simply eat it as is. They're very tasty as well. And then if you do have a fridge, Mush is a brand that makes overnight oats that actually already has a liquid put in. So it does need to be refrigerated, but they make a lot of great flavors. And once again, that short ingredient list that we're looking for. So all really great options to buy on the go. A lot of these you can find in just an average grocery store. Now, hydration. Let's chat about that because I think oftentimes we forget about this while we're traveling. It's easy to get dehydrated, especially when you can't take liquids through TSA if you're flying. So, couple of tips here. Bring a reusable water bottle. Sounds simple, but very effective making sure that you're hydrating. Go ahead and fill it up right when you get through security. Make sure you're hydrating all day long. And if you need a little extra boost, you could add something to the water that is an electrolyte mix. So Element is a great option that I've tried. It is high sodium for sure, to be high in those electrolytes. So just be mindful of that. I often don't use an entire packet in one sitting, but it definitely has all those electrolytes to make sure you stay hydrated. Liquid IV is also another option that has become pretty commonplace. Just be mindful that there is some added sugar in that. So use it sparingly whenever you want that added sweetness. I love a green juice. It makes me feel so good and helps hydrate you while you're getting some veggies and those nutrients from the vegetables. So it depends on what kind of airport you're at. If it's a big one, there's probably going to be more of a health food store you could pop in and get that green juice. If it's a smaller one, maybe not. But if you're driving, check out a grocery store. I love to have a green juice, whether I can make it at home or get it on the go. And then lastly, under hydration, I know this is challenging. I know this is way easier said than done, but trying to reduce caffeine and alcohol when possible is just going to help us stay hydrated better. So maybe it's the 1 cup of coffee in the morning instead of sipping on it all day long. Maybe it's trying to swap from a drink or two in the evening. After that, you swap to a seltzer water with some lime. That's going to help you just feel better and more energized for whatever you're working on the next day. Now, of course, if you take regular vitamins or supplements, bringing those with you is likely going to help you feel better. So make sure you plan ahead for that. And then we will get into movement, my favorite topic. So Especially when I'm traveling, I love to get some movement in. If my flight or I'm driving and it's not until later in the day, it makes a world of difference to how I feel if I'm able to get some movement that morning on my travel day. But if not, I don't stress about it. I do make sure I plan the first full day that I'm somewhere to make sure I get some morning movement in. Now, it might depend where you're going, what your options are, but you almost always have the option for an outdoor walk or run. It's really fun to explore that way as well. I love seeing a new city on a run. But if you're not able to get outside, maybe you're going somewhere super cold or you just don't feel comfortable in the area. If you're unfamiliar with it, then usually a hotel will have a gym. It might be super tiny, but hopefully they'll have something that you can do in the gym. And if not, there's always option for some in-room body weight type workouts. Some of the apps I love for that, Peloton, of course, this is not a new one to people, but it has a ton of great options where you don't need any equipment. I also really enjoy Melissa Wood Health. I've done a full episode on her classes a while back. I think it was episode 5, if you're curious about that one. That is a membership-based one as well. Glisten is another great one, a membership-based app. I did a lot of her workouts during COVID, but it's kind of like a mixture of like dance and sculpt. The Sculpt Society is a great one, similar vibe to Glisten. And Pure Barre Go has an app where you can do it on the move. So you guys know I'm a big advocate for Pure Barre if that's an option for you. If none of these are options, you don't want to spend money, YouTube has anything you could want. So no excuses. Get that movement in. It will make you feel so much better throughout the day. Okay, let's chat about sleep. This was one that a lot of people voted on the poll on Instagram that they struggle with while traveling. So I know that when we're traveling for work, I have been there. We're not always in control of our schedule. There might be some late night events or late night taking your clients out, things like that, where you aren't able to get in bed at your normal time. If that is the case, we can think about how we can improve our quality of sleep, even if we can't get the quantity that we want. So, some of the things that help me: legs up the wall, especially when I'm traveling. I feel like I get really inflamed, especially when I'm flying. So, if you can just put your legs up the wall, lay on the bed, stick your legs up the wall for 5 minutes before you go to sleep, really helps your circulation. It helps calm me down. I love doing this and it really helps me fall asleep better. And then bring what you need if you're able. So if you have a specific pillow you want to sleep with, bring it if you're able. I love to sleep to ocean waves. I'm not going to bring my noise machine with me, but Spotify has like a 20-hour ocean sound playlist. So sometimes I'll pop that on if I'm in a hotel room and I can't fall asleep. Do what you can do to help get that quality of sleep. It's so, so important while you're traveling. And then lastly, I do just want to touch on some travel products and gadgets that I like to bring. So your skincare routine, I don't have a super in-depth one, but what I can tell you is that my skin does get really dry when I'm traveling, especially when I'm flying or if I'm going somewhere cold. So I make sure to always travel with a little mini lotion, always bring my moisturizer, anything that's going to make me feel refreshed in the morning is going to be helpful. I also, this is super cute, but I travel with compression socks. I know I sound like an 80-year-old grandma, but if you're flying and your feet or ankles inflame a lot, this will help so much. I got them originally for running. After long runs, it was like immediate relief to my arches of my feet, but I love it for traveling as well. So maybe worth looking into if you haven't already. And then lastly, something that I do love to travel with when I have the space is my Theragun, little massage gun. I have the little mini one, and so it packs a bit easier. But if you get sore or tired muscles, that is a great one. Now, I know this was all specific on work travel, really. Do what you can prepare for it when you can. I know it's not always possible. And so if you can't, don't stress about it. The stress is going to be worse for you than if you miss a day of working out or if you eat a meal that maybe didn't make you feel great. It's okay. Move on the next day. However, it's not an excuse to mail it in every single day because if you end up traveling a ton for work, that is going to be your lifestyle. So it's all going to add up and you want to make sure you're feeling your best. So all of this is quite work specific. I think as far as vacation travel, of course, we want to feel our best on vacation. There's definitely going to be some more leeway as far as your schedule goes, where if you stay up later, you could sleep in, where you're going to want to try those fun drinks or the local cuisine. But as far as work travel, if you're traveling all the time, you want to feel good. So don't let work dictate how you're feeling. You are in control. You can do it. You can travel well and feel well. And then on vacation, you do you. Okay, I hope this was helpful. Quick little solo episode. I would love to hear what you guys like to do for healthy work travel specifically. Leave me a comment on Instagram. You can send me a message or you can write a little review of the podcast and you could add in maybe some of your favorite healthy travel tips. I love hearing from you guys. Hope this helps next time you are traveling and I hope you have a wonderful week. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Health by Haven podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to give the show a 5-star rating and leave a review. It makes such a huge difference in reaching new people and spreading the joy of healthy living. I would also be so appreciative if you subscribe to the show in the listening app of your choice so you never miss an episode. Your support truly means the world to me. Have a happy, healthy day, and I'll talk to you again soon.